Kia ora koutou, Bolivar Naka, Talofa Lava. Welcome back, everybody. It's Pale and Graham in the Fale, talking about Pacific cultural centeredness. And we've talked through a couple of different topics. We've talked through, what this is and looked at a couple of things like talanoa and lewa. And more recently, looked at a particular model and approach called the Whānau Fale. This is our last episode in this little sequence of 5. And the question here is, what is a Pacific perspective on cultural safety? Or if I put it another way, what does cultural safety look like for Pacific? And I'm thinking about the classroom situation, or at least an adult teaching environment. So over to you.
Thanks, Graham. What a big question, but a really worthwhile question to unpack. Can I just start off by saying, as a tutor, if you're looking at anything to do with Pacific, I guess the question I'm asking is, what is the end in mind? What is it that you're going to achieve out of the class or the person or the community that you're serving? That's a really important question, because it's in that provides the context for what we're going to talk about next. If you're keeping the end in mind is just to see one student enjoy their class, it's quite different to if you want a whole class to get to the end of the class and have a fulfilling learning experience. They're quite different. But what doesn't change in all of those for Pacific people is our approach, the values that we embrace, the talanoa that takes place, and have safety, managing that and mitigating, I guess, some of the challenges, and also the fact that we can direct the traffic more because we're in a place of influence as a tutor. So let me start off by saying, if the end in mind in a classroom setting, as you said, Brad, is that every learner in that room gets to learn something. The last thing we want is for a class of 20, for 5 to not learn anything, the other 15 to go, yeah, I've got my degree. How to get them all to have learned something by the end of the lesson. I mentioned in a previous video, one of the things that I've seen really improve a classroom setting is the socialized bit at the beginning. It's the whanaungatanga, as Māori would say, or in Pacific, the cup of tea with some biscuits. How are we doing that? If it's not tea and biscuits, are we looking for that kind of socialized approach to make people feel like, well, I'm actually included here? Often Pacific people will say, oh, I come to an office and I'm looking for people that look like me. So if you're not a tutor that's brown in Samoan or brown in Tongan, that's one of the things Pacific people will be looking for. So I guess it's the way then that as a non-Pacific person, you would engage with that learner. And that's where things like language comes in. The little greeting that we have, the tapa cloth on the wall, some of the more Pacific looking things around us, they would make Pacific people feel, oh, this person has an interest in me. And when he says talofa, oh, that's another tip. So gradually, we're building those steps towards building trust. With trust, we have everything. Trust, we not only have the learning as being proper and trusting, but we have the relationship that's a bit more than just the classroom. Those are the kids that will hang out with you when there's a wedding in the community. Those are the kids that will be part of your life when you've got a sporting activity or a fundraiser, or there's some other social activity in the community. Those kids will be really devoted to it because they've trusted you and you've built a long-term relationship. And the learning is just a bonus on top, as opposed to the other way around. When we're creating a safe environment, whether it's a classroom or anywhere else, it's really important that the relationship is built in the classroom through a number of things, not just the curriculum, because the curriculum, that can be taught. Let's just think about doing the maths here. And what I mean by that is, if we have a classroom and there's 20 people in the classroom, and we've got the socializing way, and then we know as a tutor that we've got some real basic assignments to get done. So we're saying to ourselves, we still have to get past the socialization part to these assignments. Have you checked the assignment? What does the assignment look like? Are the tasks in the assignment really able to be done at that particular level? I have been in many situations, Graham, where I've looked at the assignment and even the tutor doesn't understand what the language is on those. The tasks might be A, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus B, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus C, and then it's discuss and describe. And the poor student is really struggling to understand how that task can be put together. So simplifying the tasks is a really good way to start when you're looking at the assignments. The talanoa is an important part of the classroom safety, being able to get Pacific people to talk about their context of a particular issue. Take financial capability, for example. You wouldn't dare start off with talking about budgeting with a Pacific community. You'd ask them to tell you, how does money run in your house? Are you part of the decision-making in your family? Probably not. Is God a major influence in your parents deciding how you use money? Get them to talk about the context of money, as opposed to you starting with your curriculum and talking about budgeting. So the talanoa is important. How do other Pacific families deal with money? How do other Palangi people deal with money? If the conversation is safe around money, you'll get the best result out of learning. In fact, you get the best result out of budgeting. That's been my experience.